How can I recover more quickly from stressful situations? How can you recover more quickly from stressful situations? Notice when the stress response is being triggered and turned on. So spot the signs early. Change your associations to things. Well, conditioning happens in many forms all over the place. We look for cues in the external environment, and then we start to react, and we start to turn on certain patterns. If a certain person, one person can walk into the room that you're in right now, and it can completely change your emotional state, right? It can make you angry, right? Because you associate someone with certain past memories that trigger the feelings of anger. Or you can connect one person and see similarities in that person from someone within your past, and that can trigger certain memories, right? But the other way around as well. Someone whom you adore, revere, appreciate can walk into a room, and that can change your associations and how you perceive them, and that can change your mood, your state of being, and so on and so forth. So change your associations. That's why I teach NLP-based strategies as well. Change what things mean to you. Change the language you use with yourself. Change the images in your mind. Change the way you perceive events. You can adapt these things as well, and therefore you change your associations. So therefore, it's going to be harder to trigger the stress response, because the more we create these toxic programs mentally and emotionally, chemically in the brain and body, the more we do it, the easier it is to trigger. So sometimes early on in an experience, after an experience, you'll start to reimagine things that happened. It could have been a week ago and so on and so on. And you start to feel bad. And then you get into a bad mood. And then if you do this consistently, what happens is it becomes easier and easier to relive those experiences. And then it gets to a point where you don't even need to imagine the whole experience in detail, the whole memory in detail. Just one thought alone can trigger all those neural associations in your brain, and therefore affect you chemically as well, neurochemicals in your brain, and that will flood the body and affect your hormones through your organs, your adrenals, and so on and so forth. Your glands, and this is how the stress response gets turned on. It can get turned on so easily. So that's why I teach mindful-based strategies such as meditation, such as deep breathing, such as heart and brain coherence, as ways of shutting down the stress response, of detaching from these hardwired programs and the toxic chemical addictions that we accumulate over time. So these are some of the ways that you can overcome stressful situations. How else can you overcome stressful situations? I keep talking about exercise. I teach HIIT workouts pretty much once every 2 weeks on this YouTube channel. Do them. There's a reason why I'm doing them. This channel is all about health, happiness, abundance, spirituality, progress, achieving your dreams, achieving your goals, and it's all a process. Small things done every day lead to monumental, remarkable results. It's just the way life is. It's just that because of the media and so on, we only hear of, this person became a millionaire, this person achieved this and that, this person succeeded in business, but you don't hear about how they did it. You just think, oh, they must be so talented or so lucky, because we have our own narrative that we tell ourselves as to why we haven't accomplished the same sort of things that we might want to. But we need to detach from our egos and go, okay, I'm just hearing a certain side of things. What are these people? That's why I study people, like NLP, right? This is why I model after highly successful people as it relates to their health, abundance, spirituality, relationships, and so on and so forth. If you do what other successful people do in these avenues, you will get similar or equal, sometimes even better results. So this is why I harp on and on about having great mentors as well, or learning or indoctrinating yourself in quality content and material. And that's what I do to hopefully help you guys. I do my best to be that for you. So how can you recover more quickly from stressful situations? Deep breathing is key. Because say you've had a stressful experience and you're starting to get worked up, stressed out, and whatever kind of physiological adaptations take over whenever you get stressed out, right? And the sympathetic nervous system gets turned on, your heart rate starts to increase, your pupils dilate so you can see far distance, so you can run, blood rushes to your limbs, your hands, your feet, and so on, to prepare you to run or to fight, and so on and so forth, rather than going to your internal organs, the rest and digest system, parasympathetic nervous system, instead will not get turned on. So the way you stop that whole process from taking over is deep breathing. When you breathe deeply, your brain slows down. When you slow the brain down, your frontal lobe can come to the forefront. Your brainwave state drops from high beta, which is all about high stress, chronic stress. This is how 70% of most people spend their lives. And you're going to want to drop down. And that's what deep breathing and genuine focus and genuine compassion and connection with your heart, feeling grateful for what you have in your life, and that deep breathing, you slow the brain down, and the frontal lobe, which is what I told you about earlier, takes over. And like an orchestra, it starts to play a symphony, and the rest of the brain starts to work rhythmically, coherently. And then you start to think at your best. Then you can start to be more resourceful, more creative, make better choices, rather than acting out of stress, being impulsive, being egotistical and flimsy and impulsive with your decision making. That's how you can recover from stressful situations. Breathing and changing what things mean to you. Okay? And those are some of the main things. Your nutrition will again help. How do you recover from stressful situations? Changing what things mean to you. Addressing through Gestalt therapy, like the first times in your life where you experienced key negative emotions, key negative survival-based emotions, because when you address those primal and primary situations, then any future situations that can be linked to that, you're not going to suffer from them as drastically as you might have before, because you addressed what you experienced maybe in your childhood or in your adolescence when you experienced anger or disappointment or frustration or anxiety or fear for the first time. So you need to reflect. You can't just put a band-aid on a wound and hope and keep doing the things that caused that wound in the first place. No. You need to address the very first time where the wound was opened. Yeah, this is a metaphor, guys. So, yeah, these are the sort of things that you might want to start to think about, so that you can calm yourself, appease yourself more readily, more easily, more frequently, so that you stop the stress response from taking over your state of being and what you start to attract and move toward. Because stress results in default mode. If you're living in default mode, you're going to keep doing the same sort of things because your brain wants to just conserve itself and reserve itself for any really important emergency threats. So it starts to only run the patterns that it's familiar with, just to keep things steady and easy. Yeah. Next question is, how can I get more motivated to do the things that I want to do? How can you get more motivated to do the things that you want to do? In life, it all comes down to the pleasure and pain principle. If you perceive something to be pleasurable, you are more likely to do it more often. Then it becomes habitual. You can start to predict the outcomes. You know the emotions that it will provide for you. Then you start to do it more and more effortlessly. It becomes easier to do, and so on and so forth. And vice versa. If you perceive something to provide more pain, then you won't do it. Now, the key thing here is changing what pleasure and pain means to you. For me, pleasure is derived from consuming healthy foods, having your salads, having your nuts, your seeds, your eggs, and so on and so forth, drinking a lot of water, green tea, and so on and so forth. Your apple cider vinegar, your kombucha for the digestive enzymes, your immune system. Doing these things provide me with pleasure because I know that it's going to give me energy throughout the day, these sorts of things, rather than having something sugary, full of carbohydrates, that's going to give me an initial boost and then tire me out very shortly after. So the challenge is reversing what things mean to you. This is why I keep telling you about addressing and changing your associations, the meanings you have to things. Because most people in society, why we have this, why people suffer with obesity, is because in their mind, pleasure means food that just tastes incredible, that gives you that instant boost and rush of energy and glucose into the cells, which force your pancreas to produce insulin, so that it shuttles the glucose into your cells, to make sure not too much glucose stays in your bloodstream for too long, and And people become addicted to those process, those feelings, those instant pleasures, the associations they have. If I bite into that donut, it's going to taste so good. But it's all down to what we associate with pain and pleasure. So I like to think more long term. I like to think, rather than spending this money, extra money that I might have on a kind of something tangible, materialistic, like a nice bag or shoes or a watch or whatever it is, rather than doing that to make me feel good in the instant, no, I'm going to invest it in stocks or shares or commodities or property or my business or in, some sort of savings account that produces good interest over time and so on. So you need to, what does pleasure mean to you? What is pleasurable? And when you change those associations, now you're changing the rules of your life. Now you're changing what rewards you are looking for in your life. If you change what your rewards are, then you're going to change what you do. If you change what you do, your behaviors, then you're essentially making new choices. If you're making new choices, you're going to essentially change and rewire your patterns over time. And then therefore your beliefs will change, and then your perceptions will change. And you're not going to look for unhealthy foods everywhere you go. No, you're going to be looking at instead, oh, look at that. Oh, salad is exactly what I need right now. I need that energy. I need those antioxidants. I need to give myself that water, keep myself hydrated. This is great for my skin, my body, my brain. There, see how we're done? But it works. It works. So how can you get motivated to do the things that you want to do? Chunk down. Make it easier. No, my bad. Chunk up. Make it easier. The easier you think a process is, the more likely you are to do it and also be consistent with it. Like, if you want to be motivated to do certain things, and it sounds like, how can you get motivated to do the things that you want to do? It sounds like you want to do it, but you're not doing it because maybe you think it's arduous or it'll take too long or you need certain resources, I'm guessing, right? So you're putting too many barriers. You're thinking too much. Instead of overthinking, because overthinking leads to more questioning, more doubt, more insecurity, and therefore doing nothing. Yeah? So instead, it's not down to you to always come up with the how, the small, nuanced, meticulous things that you're going to need to do that build up and make you think, oh, overwhelmed. Nope. Calm down. Visualize what you want to achieve in your life. Visualize what you want to do, the things that you want to be motivated to do. Visualize yourself doing them successfully. Be present throughout the day. Focus on small improvements over time each day, and you will notice that the answers will come to you. You'll naturally choose that salad. You'll naturally invest your money in the right areas. You'll naturally be more loving, caring, compassionate with others in your relationships. You'll naturally listen more to others and be more present and more caring and become more connected to the universe, the greater energy out there. These things will come to you because you are surrendering to the greater intelligence that will make everything happen. That will determine whether you get into an accident or whether you create positive opportunities in your life. It's all down to your energy. It's all down to your perception. It's all down to what you look for in the external environment to support what you've already been conditioning within yourself for months, years, decades, and so on and so forth. So, don't know how we got there, to be honest with this question, but we got there. Let's reel me back in. How can you get more motivated to do the things that you want to do? See, I've gotten all defensive across my arms now. No, open body language. Let's change it. How can I get more motivated to do the things that I want to do? Yes, know your why. I said this earlier, but it's so important. Keep digging deeper. Why do you want to do things? Because the reason why, so right now you've got internal conflict. Let's be honest. This person, whoever's come up with this question, you've got an internal conflict. You want to do something, but for one reason or another, you don't want to do it. So that's the internal conflict. What you need to understand is, what is the overall goal for those two things? So let me give an example to help you, right? You want to eat healthily because you know it's great for your longevity, your energy levels longer term. It's greater for your clarity. You're going to look after your body and all these sorts of things, right? We get that. Everyone understands this. This is not rocket science. But just because we know it doesn't mean we do it. We do what's habitual, what we're familiar with, what feels good in the moment. And we do what feels good because we're used to it. And we want to do things in our comfort zone because we can predict what our results are going to be like in our comfort zone. And if we can predict it, then we know what to expect. We won't get hurt. We stay in control. Yeah? We might become bored and depressed and incur diseases over time through this same system, but at least we feel control of our suffering. Do you know what I mean? So the key, I've lost my train of thought here. Where were we? Yeah, I was talking about the comfort zone. I forgot what I was talking about over here. So how can you get more motivated to do the things that you want to do? That's it. Know your why. Know why you want to do these sorts of things. Oh, yeah, that was it, the internal conflict. So here is the thing that is preventing you from doing this activity, whatever it is, eating healthily, right? So what you need to do is you need to understand that the reason why you're eating unhealthily here, in this example, is because it's giving you certain needs. It's giving you certain pleasures. It's making you feel comfortable, satiated, satisfied. What you have to understand in your mind is that eating healthily, which is something you know you want to do in this example, will provide you with comfort, with stability, will satisfy you long term, because you need to understand that when you start to eat healthily, your taste buds will change and you won't crave sugary foods as much as you are right now. But that you need to understand that. So when you research and learn about this topic, whatever the topic might be to you, then you're going to see, the reason why I'm eating unhealthily at this present moment is because it makes me feel certain ways. It makes me feel in control, relaxed. It makes me feel good in the moment. But if I start to eat healthily, and don't get me wrong, it will be tough at the start, just like any habit over time. It takes a while to become accustomed to it, familiar with it, and ready for it. But over time, I'm going to enjoy eating healthily. It will give me energy. It will make me feel comfortable. It will make me feel satiated, because I'll start to enjoy the taste of these rather simple yet highly nutritious organic foods. Now in your mind, you're gone, and there was the light bulb moment. Wow, the same reasons I've been eating unhealthily is the same reasons why I should be eating healthily. And when you do that, then you need to make a choice. I'm no longer this person anymore. You're no longer associating your being, your identity, with being unhealthy. Instead of saying to yourself, I am an unhealthy person, it's just the way I am, it's just the way I do, what can I say? No, you're just saying, I am a healthy person who, at this moment, is choosing to eat unhealthily. I'm not going to do it anymore because that doesn't support me. Instead, I am a healthy person who wants to be healthy, who wants to look after my mind and body, who wants to have more energy and sleep better and improve their lives and have clarity of their thoughts and so on and so forth. So therefore, I'm going to start to eat more healthily. Now you've made the choice, but you had to bring them on the same wavelength, on the same level, if you will, to make that choice. Okay? So that's how you can get motivated to do the things you want to do. You need to understand, you need to make that connection in your mind as to why you want to be a certain way. Okay? You need to cross it over to show that what you want to do more often will give you the same, if not better results as what you are currently doing. Once you understand that, and you can get a mentor for yourself to do this sort of stuff, and I can help you. If you message me certain examples, or let me know, give me a case study to work with it, and I'll be able to dissect things a bit better for you. That's how you can start to make some real substantial changes. All right.